Hey everyone, it's Mr. Rosen here. Today I'm going to show you how to make a box and a whisker plot. Sometimes just called a box plot, but oftentimes called a box and whisker plot. So I'm just going to make up some numbers. I'll make up 10 numbers. And let's just get started. So 3, 7, 13, 14, 19, 21, 25, 27, 28. How many got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the 10th one, I'm going to put it kind of far away here. Okay. So I purposely am putting out one that's really, really far because I want to have an outlier and I want to show you how that works. Okay. So let's say, for example, I don't know what this is, but maybe I surveyed some people at a mall and this is their ages, for example. Okay. And what I'm going to do is make my box and whisker plot. Okay. Now, I purposely put it in order as I made up these numbers because you need the values to be in order and you need to be able to figure out what the median is and stuff like that. Okay? If you don't know what the median is the middle number. So that's the first thing we're going to find here. Okay? The middle number that cuts this in half, because there is 10, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually going to be right here. Okay? That's what cuts it in half. The left side's got 5 numbers, the right side's got 5 numbers. Okay? And I can't actually pick it out. I can't select the median. So what I actually have to do is figure out the average between those two numbers. If you get an odd number of values, then you could just circle the median. But this one, there is no actual middle number. So I have to go ahead and calculate it. So I'm going to calculate it to be this. 19 plus 21 divided by 2. Which is going to give me, I think that's 40, right? 19 plus 21. That's 40. Divided by 2, which is going to give me 20. And if you look at it, the middle number would be 20. Between 19 and 21, that's my middle number. Okay, so this is my median. Now what I also need is something called the Q1 and the Q3. Okay, the Q1 essentially is the median of the first half. So if I'm looking at the first half, I got 3, 7, 13, 14, and 19. This number right here, this is my middle number. That's my Q1. On the right side, I've got 21, 25, 27, 28, and 71. The middle number of that chunk is 27. This is going to be Q3. Okay. So in median, the median itself, that's a special name, it's called median, but it could be called Q2 if you wanted. These are the numbers that basically divide the set of data into quarters. Okay, these are the numbers that divide it into quarters. Okay, so we got Q1, Q3, and our median. That's the first part to making our box plot. Okay. The next thing I got to do is I got to figure out something called the interquartile range. Interquartile range. Sometimes this is just called the IQR. Okay. And what you do to figure out the IQR is you subtract Q3 minus the Q1. You subtract these. We're going to figure out the distance between them. So in this case, it would be 27 minus 13 is 14, I believe, right? Just check here. Yeah, 14. So there's my interquartile range. Okay, that's something I need as well for this. The next thing I have to do, I have to check for outliers. Oops, not Q. It's going to be outliers. An outlier, what that is it's a number or a data point that's really, really outside the norm. So it's really far out there. So if I'm looking at the values I made up, they're all kind of in the same area except for that 71. That 71 is pretty far out there, right? That one there is an outlier. If this is people's ages, it's a pretty old person, right? Everybody else is kind of younger, right? And then you got one really old person in the group. So how do we know for a fact if that's an outlier or not? You can calculate it. You can calculate whether these are outliers or not. And there's 2 calculations we're going to do to check. So let's check the left side first, because it could be one on the left. The left side, the formula would be this. It's going to be Q1 minus 1.5 times the interquartile range. This is the formula to check for it. And so I'll show you what it's going to look like. Q1 is 13 minus 1.5 times the interquartile range is 14. And if we calculate this, we get 13 minus 1.5 times 14. I get negative 8. So what that number means is any number less than negative 8 is an outlier. So any number less than -8 is an outlier. So if I check my list here, do I have any numbers less than -8? The lowest I got is 3. So no, I have no outliers on this thing. So no, oops, I can't even spell. No outliers on the left side. So nothing is crazy negative or anything like that. Okay, let's check the right side now. So the right side, the formula is similar, okay, except we're going to write Q3 plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. 1.5 times the interquartile range. Okay, I'll just erase that, fix it up better. 1.5 times the interquartile range, like that. Okay, so our Q3 was 27. It's 27 plus 1.5 times the interquartile range was 14. And what do we get? 27 plus 1.5 times 14. That's 48. 48. So any number greater than, this time it's greater than because on the right side, any number greater than 48 is an outlier. So we're going to check our list. Anything bigger than 48? Yes, the 71. Okay, the 71 is definitely an outlier because it is beyond the boundary of the outlier check, which is at 48. So therefore, 71 is an outlier. Okay, now we actually have enough information to make our box plot here. So the box plot is essentially going to be built on a number line. The lowest number I have to be able to incorporate is a 3, and the highest is a 71. So I'm going to draw a number line, and it's not going to be stick straight, but I'll do my best. Okay, I have to get it up to 71, so let's go maybe by tens here. Let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Like that. Okay. So let's start off with the box itself. Okay. The first line of the box is going to be at Q1, which in this case is, what's Q1? It's 13. Okay, at 13 we're going to draw a line straight up and down. So I'll do it in purple. So here's 13. Draw a line like that. Okay, there's 13. The median, that's the next line, is at 20. So at 20, draw a line straight up and down like that. The Q3 was 27. So that goes like that. And then we connect this. There's a rectangle. There's our box. Okay. Now we're going to deal with the whiskers, which we'll do the left whisker and then the right side whisker. Okay. The left side whisker, we have no outliers. So what you have to do then is you have to draw a line and go all the way to the lowest value, which is a 3. The lowest number I have is 3. So it has to go to 3. So 3 would be like maybe right here. Draw a little tick. And I connect that. Okay, that's 3 right there. Okay. The next one on the right side, we're not going to go all the way to 71. Okay, because what we're going to do is we have to label the outlier. 71 is an outlier. The way you label that is you draw a dot. So at 71, draw a dot. And our little line, our whisker line, that has to go all the way to the next highest value that is not an outlier. So if I look back at my values, the next highest value I have is 28. That's where it has to stop. Okay, so I'm going to find 28. Oops. 28, is that right? Yeah, okay, so 28. That's going to be a really, really tiny little tick because, yeah, my Q3 is at 27. Not going to go very far, okay? But that's it. That line would go to the next highest point that is not an outlier. Okay, so that's how it has to look. The outlier is already accounted for. It's this dot here. Okay, and yeah. So this is just, like I said, a quick example of how to do a box plot. Again, I'll go through the steps one more time. You got to find your Q1, your Q3, and your median. Once you've got the median and everything, you got to figure out the interquartile range. Once you got the interquartile range, you can use that to check for outliers. The formula for the left outlier is Q1 minus 1.5 times the interquartile range. Get that number. Any number less than that is an outlier. On the right side, it's Q3 plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. You get that number. Anything bigger than that is an outlier, which in our case, it was 48. Anything larger than 48 is an outlier. 48 is just like an imaginary barrier. Anything that's past that is an outlier. Okay? And then once you've got that, you draw your rectangles at Q1, Q2, and Q3. I'll label them right now, even though you don't have to do this. But this is Q1 right here. This is your median. This right here is Q3. Okay. The whisker on the left goes to the lowest value. The whisker on the right goes to the highest non-outlier value. And you draw your outlier in as a dot. Okay. So I hope this example makes some sense to you. This is how you make a box and whisker plot. There's a lot of different tools you can use to make these, but this is how you do it by hand. And hopefully this makes sense to you guys.